This is a diagram of all the electrical components inside the truck. We've got our 12 volt circuits, 120 volt circuits, every different type of wiring. We've got 14.2, 12.2, 10.2, etc., etc. And we're going to do the wiring next. So before we can do the wiring, we have to know where everything's going to be. I have to know where everything's going to be in the truck. Where the refrigerator is going to be, the air conditioning, the sinks, water pumps, heaters, all that stuff. We need to know where everything is going to go. So before we can do the wiring, we have to get the layout. So we're going to get some tape, do the layout on the floor, get the floor plan in, and yeah, maybe you guys can start to get an idea for what kind of stuff's going to be in this truck. Refrigerator in that corner is going to have its own dedicated circuit. Up above the refrigerator is going to be my AC unit. We're going to make a special housing for that that'll have all the ducting and everything behind it. And then we've got the kitchen area. So this is 60-inch wide kitchen area here. Up above that, the cabinetry up there, and then to the left is going to be a kind of a connected full floor-to-ceiling pantry. And you'll notice more room, floor space as you come out, and I'm intentionally designing it that way so that it feels open out here, because this is going to be kind of the living room area back here. I'm just marking the terminals for where my outlets are going to be, or where things are going to be plugged in. On these, I'm just writing what they're for. Oven, type of cable I'm going to be using, 12 gauge, and the amperage rating for that, so I know what kind of breaker to use. We're going to be running quite a bit of cable here. Speaking of cable, let me show you what we got. So both of these are 12 gauge copper wire. However, the home stuff, if you look closely, this is a solid copper, one individual solid copper wire. It's very thick, it's hard to bend, it's rigid, and you can see this stuff really holds its form when you move it. Now contrast that with this. This is also 12 gauge copper wire, but notice this is stranded. Stranded meaning it's not an individual copper wire, it's a bunch of individual wires wrapped into one. Conducts the same. You'll also notice this is silver. That means it's tinned. This is resistant to corrosion, which doesn't really matter as much for this application. It's not going to be exposed to water like it would be in a boat. However, this is very flexible wire. It's not rigid like the other stuff. Now the key factor here is that this stranded wire is going to be much more resistant to vibrations, to moving, as is in the truck, and the whole thing's bouncing around. So over time, this wire could actually crack and break if it vibrates enough in one spot over and over and over again. So we don't want that. Now this stuff is more expensive. Electricity is one place where you don't want to skimp, and we are not skimping. So we got full set 12 gauge, 14 gauge, and the big boy 10 gauge green tinned copper stranded wiring. There's no resistance at all, so wherever you move, it'll go. So it's a little hard to keep a straight line, but it's a clean cut and it'll do the job. No one's gonna see it, so as long as it's in there. This is the cable. This is my 10 gauge for the water heater, and it fits pretty perfectly right up in there. So I call that mission accomplished. Now we just got to run it down the side, and we're going to try to go through the wood as well. So we have to get to there. I can't get to here, so I'm gonna have to do that manually, but that is much better than doing 20 feet manually. And this is what our channel looks like. Straight through all the way down, nice and deep. Went through the wood, not very clean, you know, but first try, whatever. We'll do better next time. Doesn't even need tape. Holding itself up entirely. It's not super tight, it's just a nice snug fit. this is really hard and you can't touch anything because it's so hot. Holy. And I'm balancing on top of the ladder. Okay, we've got the first wall panel installed. Finally, thank God. I'm so tired of looking at this insulation, man. I can't tell you how much I hate this insulation. Anyway, I'll tell you the plan we're going with for the walls. I'm doing a dual layer system, and that might sound a little strange, but I'm trying to accomplish two things. Obviously, I need structural rigidity, and I need it to look good. The only way to do that with plywood in one shot with one board is to pay about $70 per panel. Now, I don't know about you, but $70 per panel times, 12 or 13 panels that I'm going to need. I think I could do a little better. So I'm trying out a strategy where I'm doing an OSB, 7/16 inch OSB, and then on top of that, I'm going to be doing a sanded plywood layer that looks really nice. It's paintable, stainable, whatever I need to do. It's thin, it's lightweight, so the 7/16 combined with that board will give me about 3/4 of an inch of a wall that's solid and looks good. The other nice thing about this is that I'm able to go through and do rough draft holes for the outlets, okay, the junction boxes and whatnot. I can cut in the OSB. I don't care if I mess it up, like over here, the router got out of hand. I don't want to talk about it, but it allows me to do a rough draft before I do the expensive stuff, because I know exactly where the holes are going to be when I drill the expensive stuff. The other thing people are probably going to ask me is, what about vapor barrier? Vapor barrier this, vapor barrier that. You see in other van builds, it's all about the vapor barriers. Well, listen, this is a little different, okay? This isn't a van, first of all. This is a box truck, which is essentially, if you get one of these, you'll understand. It's a Uhaul truck. Specifically talking about Uhauls, not all box trucks, not all, but Uhauls. They're essentially an airtight box, okay? There is no cracks, crevices, no secret compartments, nothing where air's coming in, coming out, where there's metal exposed. This, as of right now, the way that I have this, aside from the back, which is going to be filled in once I get the rear door placed in there, there will be no metal exposed at all. There's not even a single square inch anywhere in this truck. The air is going to be able to move around, and in a nutshell, I don't think a vapor barrier is going to be necessary for this truck build. And even when you look at the question of whether to put a vapor barrier in houses, that's controversial as well, and it really depends on the climate that the house is going to be in. Now, it's kind of hard to calculate that based on a truck because I'm going to be in all kinds of climates. I will be in very cold climates, which is the only really place where you would want an internal vapor barrier. But I think with, you know, a layer of plywood on the outside, which is I think 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch, followed by 2 inches of insulation, followed by another 3/4 of an inch of plywood, is really going to give me quite a solid insulated compartment for me to keep warm in this winter and cool in the summer with very minimal air transfer and very minimal vapor transfer. But who knows? Maybe it won't work out. But that's okay, because on the second one, this is just Mark 1. On the Mark 2 command center, maybe I'll put some vapor barrier, depending on how it turns out in the field. We'll find out. Just had Hurricane Nicholas hit. Didn't get too bad here last night, but it's a little messy. I want to show you guys this though. There it is. Look at this guy on my antenna. Spiky man. Okay, I can only focus on the wall. There we go. Look at that. He's building a tiny home on my tiny home. There we go. We got face track on the spider. Let's see if we can track him here. It's a little windy. Whoa, whoa. Hang on. I know, man. I know the struggles of trying to build a house in terrible weather. I love it. If I could get like 10 more of those around the truck, get like a mosquito net. I mean, it's a win-win. He wins, I win. everybody wins.
Got him. Easiest thing I've ever done in my life.
And there we have it. The walls and the wiring are done and ready to go. We've got a little sneak peek of what's coming up next, if you can figure out maybe what this is. And then we've got the refrigerator back there in the corner. Just picked these up today. And we've got about 10 other boxes of stuff that we now have to populate this thing with. So let's get started on actually building out the interior. Thanks for sticking with me through that break there, but rest assured we are back and I'm working on this thing every day. So we'll see you on the next one. Shout out to everybody over at my locals.com page. Don't forget, if you guys want to ask questions or get details on things that are not in the videos, you can always join over there and have a conversation with me. I will be dropping an exclusive behind-the-scenes video explaining everything that went down between the last video and now. Spoiler alert, it was not my choice to wait this long. I got a breakdown moving across country and had to get an engine replacement. So if you want to hear about my brand new engine and get all the other benefits of locals.com, go to Techno Barbarian.locals.com to join up. I'll see you over there.